In this video, I will show an improved method for calibrating deep water time sections using functions that we have added to StructureSolver 8.1. In this section, the formation velocity within the sediment has an average value of about 2,300 meters per second, whereas the deep water overlaying the section has got a seismic velocity of about 1,500 meters per second. If we naively calibrate this section with a velocity of 2,300 meters per second, then the apparent water depth will be much too great. So what we do in this particular situation is we initially calibrate with a velocity of 1,500 meters per second. In this case, we've done this during the initial SegY import. That allows us then to determine the water depth. In this case, it's about 2,450 meters. We can then change the velocity to 2,300 meters per second. And we will reset the vertical exaggeration to 1. And at this point, we will see that the apparent water depth now is about 3,700 meters, which is much too great. However, we now have a new function, which is Change Depth Datum. So we can bring this line down, click on the water depth, and then set the value of 2,450 for the water depth. And now if we show the calibration, you will see that it's calibrated from top to bottom again, but the top calibration is actually sort of negative because we're using a too high velocity there, but the correct depth will pertain everywhere below the seafloor. At this point, we can then add a scale bar, a vertical scale bar. We'll set the top location at 2,450, 7,550 for the depth, and then we'll move it across, and we now have got the correct depths, obviously within our section, in the sedimentary section. So we can proceed knowing that we've got both relative and absolute depths as correct as we could possibly make them in the section of interest. So you can use this simple trick whenever you're calibrating a time section with significant water depth. So the trick is to calibrate or import using the water velocity, determine the water depth, recalibrate with the correct sedimentary velocity, and then change the datum so that you have the correct depth at the seafloor.